A very good morning, dear students. Welcome back to the online classes. So, in today's session, I am going to discuss the model question paper 1. So, in this question paper, I am going to discuss today about part A and part B questions. So, meanwhile, dear students, you have to keep in your mind that all the question papers has to be solved by you. So, from question paper 1 and 1 to 10 question papers, so you have to solve in the separate assignment book, and so this assignment book has to be submitted, and this assignment book will carry marks, and that will be having a weightage for issuing the hall tickets. Okay. So let us begin with the part A of this question paper. So the first question goes like this. So expand IC or give an expansion for IC. So here this IC means you have to concentrate. So from which chapter the IC concept will come? So from the chapter 1 you will be getting this IC. So what does IC's expansion is? So we have to write one answer, keyword answer as integrated circuits. So the second question is, what is cache memory? So cache memory is what? So this question comes from the second chapter, that is input, output and memory devices. So cache memory is a small amount of high speed memory present between main memory and the CPU. So what is the main memory of a computer? So it is a RAM. So cache memory is placed between the RAM and the CPU. So CPU is what? The processing unit of a computer, and RAM is what? It is a main memory or a primary memory. Okay. So here in cache memory you will be having two things. So one is what? L1, another one is what? L2. So L1 cache memory will be there, L2 cache memory will be there. Okay. So where this L1 cache memory is present? So L1 cache memory is present on the microprocessor. So microprocessor will be there. So on that microprocessor L1 cache will be present. So where this L2 cache memory is present? So L2 cache memory is present on the motherboard. So on the motherboard L2 cache memory is present. So there may be asking the cache memory explanation even for the 5 marks. So there you have to write all the clear explanation for the cache memory. Okay. So L1 cache memory will be present inside the CPU. So that is microprocessor chip will be there. On that L1 cache memory will be present. And L2 cache memory, L2 cache where it will be present? So it will be present on the motherboard. Okay. So here for 1 mark what you have to write is, so what is a cache memory? So cache memory is a small amount of high speed memory, so which is present between the main memory and the CPU. Okay. So let us move on for the next question. So what is the next question? So what is meant by debugging? So here, so you have to know what do you mean by bug first. So bug means error. Okay. So D means what? D means remove. Okay. So debugging means what? Removing of errors. So bug means what? It is an error. D means what? It is a remove. So here what do you mean by debugging? They have asked. So answer for that is the process of correcting and detecting the errors in the program is referred as debugging. So first we detect and then we correct the errors. So that is called as, this process is called as debugging. Okay. So next question is, how do you declare a constant in C++? So how do you declare a constant in C++? So by using the keyword called as const. So this is a keyword here. So by using const keyword we have to declare the constant in C++. Okay. So what do you mean by constant? Constant is a programming element which doesn't changes during the execution of the program. The value of this constants will be remaining same throughout the execution of the program. Okay. So here I think you have understood what do you mean by constant and how do you declare a constant. So constants are always declared using const keyword. By using const keyword we declare a C++ constant. Okay. So next, what is the purpose of set W? So next question is what? What is the purpose of set W? So set W means it is one of the manipulator. So manipulators, what it will do? So it will alter the outputs of the program. So here set W, what it will do is it will set the width of the field assigned for the output. For example, if you are having set W of 4 here, so then the fields allocated for the output will be 4 places. Okay, so 4 spaces width will be allocated for the output by using the manipulator called as set W. So set W is what? It is one of the manipulator. So what it is used, why it is used means it will alter or it will set the width of the field assigned for the output. Okay. So next we'll see the 6th question. So 6th question is what? Which statement is also called as post-tested looping statement? So post-tested looping statement, another name is what they have asked. So another name for post-tested looping statement is do-while loop. So in C++ programming we are having 3 kinds of loops. So one is what? For loop. Another one is what? While loop. Another one is what? Do while loop. So for loop means what? It is a fixed execution of loop. Means in for loop, in advance we will be knowing how many times the looping statement has to be repeated again and again. While loop means what? It is called as pre-tested looping because here the looping condition will be at the beginning of the construct. Do while loop means what? The condition will be at the end of the construct. Okay. So once we'll execute once all the statements and then we'll check for the condition. So only this do while loop is also called as post-tested looping. Okay. So the next question is, what are subscripts? So what are subscripts? So the individual elements in the arrays are referenced by using subscripts enclosed within a square brackets. See, in arrays chapter, you all might have gone through this square bracket. Is it right? So square bracket indicates it is a subscript. So square bracket indicates it is a subscript. So one-dimensional arrays will have the one subscript. Two-dimensional arrays will have two subscripts. Three-dimensional arrays, multi-dimensional arrays will have n subscripts. So subscripts are what? So for accessing the array elements, we have to access, somehow we have to reference the array elements by using the subscripts. So array elements will always be represented like this. So here array name will be presented, and here all the elements inside that will be presented. For example, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 will be there, and here array elements A of 0. Always array's first index or subscript will be starting with 0, then 1, A of 1, A of 2, A of 3, and then A of 4. So subscript, for example, 20th element is accessed using the subscript A of 1. Okay, so like this subscripts are defined. So subscript means what? The individual elements in the arrays are referenced by subscript enclosed within the square brackets. Okay, so next, what do you mean by one dimensional array or define one dimensional array? So define one dimensional array. So it is a collection of elements of same data types stored under same name in which each element is identified by using one subscript. So arrays means you all know it is a homogeneous collection of elements. So where it will have the same data type and it will have under the same name. For example, if I am having array name as A and it is having 5 elements, so here all these 5 elements, it will be having either the same data type. It may be an integer data type, or it may be a floating data type, or it may be a character data type, or it may be a double data type. All the 5 elements will have the same type of data type. Okay, so and here what here you have to concentrate is all these elements are accessed using or referenced using only one subscript. So then such type of arrays are called as one dimensional arrays. So one dimensional arrays means what? It is a collection of elements of same data types and stores under the same name in which each element is identified by using one subscript. What is a function? So next question is, what do you mean by function? So you might be knowing in C++ programming, one of the major turning comes from the concept called as function. So function means what? It is a named group of statements. So why we have called it as named group of statement means it will perform some specific task and it will return a value to other functions when it is called. So function means what? It is a named group of statements. So why it is required means to perform some specific task and returns a value to some other functions. So when it is called, so whenever the function is called, the return value will be returned for the main function. So function is a named group of statements. So for performing some specific task, we create a function. Okay. So in return, the function will perform all the tasks and it will return value for the program. Okay. Main program, main module, it will return. Next question is, what is a module? So what do you mean by module? So module means what? It is a part of the program with self-contained collection of steps to solve a complex problem. So module will have, it is also a program wherein it will consist of self-contained collection of steps. Why we require this? To solve a problem. Okay. So this is about a module. So module is what? It is also a part of the program which will have self-contained collection of steps to solve a problem or a program. Okay. So these are about the 1 mark questions. So there will be a 10 questions in the question paper and there will be no options for 1 mark. So no choices will be there. All the questions has to be answered by the students. Okay. So let us move on for the second main. So that is part B. So here it will be asked for 2 marks. Okay. So there will be, you have to answer any 5 questions or by among 8 questions. So from 8 questions you have to answer any 5 questions. So here each question will carry 2 marks. Okay. So first question goes like this. So what is an input device? Name any 2 input devices. So an input device is used to feed the data into the computer. Okay. So input devices, by using input devices we can input the data for the computer. So generally all the students, all of you will be knowing, right? The major input devices we use is keyboard, mouse, is it right? Apart from that, joystick will be there, OMR, OCR and then MICR will be there. So all these input devices can be used for feeding the data for the computer. Okay. So what is input device? Input device is used to give the input for the computer or else feed the data into the computer. So any input, 2 input devices they have asked. So you can write any 2 input devices among many input devices you know. Okay, so you can write keyboard and mouse. So next question is compare ROM and RAM. So compare ROM and RAM, that means you have to write the differences between the 2 types of memory. Okay, so RAM and ROM. So you have to differentiate between these 2 types of memories. So first one is what? So you have to make a column like this. So here you have to write the headings like RAM for in the one part and ROM in the other part. So what you have to specify here? First differences you have to specify. So read and write memory, or it is all expansion of RAM is what? Random access memory. So by using RAM you can perform both the actions. So one is read operation also can be performed, another one is write operation can also be performed by using RAM. But by using ROM, so ROM allows only to read the data. Okay. So next, volatile memory. So volatile memory means what? It is a temporary memory. So whenever there is a power fluctuations in the computer environment, wherever you are working, there the data will be lost as soon as you face a power issue. But the data which is stored in the ROM will be permanent. So that is, it is non-volatile memory. So there data will not be lost using ROM. Okay. So that is the second difference. So third difference is what? So this RAM can be accessible for the user. So whenever you open the back cabinet of the CPU, so from there will be a motherboard inside the CPU which will be embedded. So from the motherboard you can actually plug out the latches and you can take the RAM, but this ROM is what is there, right? So ROM is directly embedded on the motherboards. So you cannot access the ROM. Okay. So for RAM, you can easily take out the RAM from the CPU's motherboard, but ROM is completely embedded and you cannot take out that ROM chip outside. So that is not accessible for the user. Okay. So next point is, so RAM is having external memory chips. So RAM and ROM are both are memory chips, but it is having external memory chip. But whereas this ROM memories are what, as I told in the last point, it is inbuilt with the motherboard. Okay. So these are the differences you have to write for RAM and ROM. So next question is, what is the software? Mention different types of software. So software is a set of programs, procedures, algorithms and documents concerned with the operation of a computer system. So whenever you are having a hardware of the computer, so that hardware of the computer has to be worked means, so then you have to use the software. So if you are having alone, you are having the hardware, so you will be not able to work with the hardware. So but to work with the software, you should have, to work with the hardware, you should have the software. So software means what? It is a set of programs or procedures, some set of algorithms. So why we require these things? To operate for the computer. So there are two types of softwares. So one is system software, another one is application software. So system software is there, application software is there. Okay. So this is the answer for what do you mean by software and what do you mean by different types of softwares. So software means what? It is a set of collection of programs or algorithms or documents. So why we require all these things? To operate for the computer system. And different types of softwares are system software, application software. Okay. So next one is, what are syntax and semantic errors? So errors means the mistakes which is done by the user. So while giving the syntax it may be a mistake, while giving the logic it may be a mistake. So the mistake which is developed while writing the program is called as errors. So here they have asked specifically what do you mean by syntax errors and semantic errors. So syntax errors means, so errors, these type of errors which occurs due to wrong use of syntax. So syntax, wherein you are writing the syntax, so that syntax is making the mistake in those syntax, so then you will have to face a syntax errors. For example, if you are missing the semicolon in the program while writing the program, then you will get the syntax errors. So syntax errors means what? The wrong in the usage of the syntax. So then we get the syntax errors. So next is semantic errors. So errors which occur due to the wrong use of logic. So whenever we write the wrong logic of the program, so then we will get the logic error. So logic of the program is wrong, so then we will get the semantic error. Whenever syntax of the program is only wrong, then we will get the syntax errors. Okay. So next, define the terms. Next question, define the terms. First one class, second one inheritance. So class means what? It is a collection of objects. So collection of objects which will be having similar types, which shares a common properties and relationships are called as class. So class is what? It is a collection of objects. So next word, inheritance. So inheritance means what? So here we are deriving one more class, new class from already existing class. So already existing class is called as base class, and the deriving class is called as subclass. So inheritance means what? It is a process by which one object of the class acquires the properties of the objects of another class. So then such process is called as inheritance. Okay. So next question, write the syntax and example for input operator in C++. So here what they have asked, you have to write the syntax and example for input operator in C++. So what is the inputs, how you give the input in the C++ program? By using cin statement. So cin statement has to be written. So then you have to write this stream extraction operator. So by using this stream extraction operator, you are going to input the variable's name. So first we have to declare the variable name and then we have to input the variable name. So the name cin stands for console input. Okay. So next question is, what is a string concatenation? Name the function used for string concatenation. So string concatenation means what? It is the process of joining two or more strings to form a single string is called as string concatenation. So there will be having two strings or more than that. So joining of all these strings is called as string concatenation. Okay, so what is its syntax? So string cat. So here within the bracket you have to write the two strings. So string 1 comma string 2. So what is the function we are going to use for string concatenation is strcat. So string concatenation is the function is used for string concatenation. String cat is the function which is used for string concatenation. For example, if you consider string 1 as Rama and string 2 as Krishna, so after performing the string concatenation, so the second string will be joined for the first string. So Rama Krishna will be the result for this two strings, Rama and Krishna. Okay. So this is about string concatenation. So string concatenation means what? You have to keep it in your mind like, so there we have performing or joining the both the strings. Okay. So next question is, mention any two characteristics of object oriented programming. So that is OOPS. So object oriented programming will support for modularization, polymorphism, inheritance, data encapsulation, data abstraction. It has classes, objects, everything. Okay. So these are some of the questions. So important questions from part A and part B. So in the next classes I'll be discussing on the questions from 3 mark questions and then 5 mark questions I will be discussing. Meanwhile, as I told, you have to write all the question papers answers and you have to be keeping in mind that these questions will be important. Okay. Thank you all.